I guess I'm gonna get right into it. Welcome to a man of a certain age. I am Frank Dixon. I am your host, creator, whatever titles, whatever. Man, it's been a. You know what? I wasn't even going to broadcast tonight, but try to keep it in the habit of doing things the right way. So, had to do it. Had to do it. Um, ooh, where do we begin? Where do we begin? Um, well, by now, everybody in the world knows that our Supreme Court has overturned Roe v. Wade. I don't want to jump in that one yet. Been doing good things locally with my job, Cure Violence. Excuse me. This podcast is not a product of Cure Violence Global, Cure Violence Making, or Project Hero. I'm just a guy who's reflecting on his thoughts of a program that I think is an awesome program. I am not authorized. Well, I sort of am authorized, but this show is not a authorized segment to reflective of Cure Violence Global Initiative. That being said, been a rewarding week at work. Make some progress doing things in the neighborhood. Pleasant Hill, Project Hero. Um, very proud of how my team is really operating together. I think the Cure Violence model is definitely something that can benefit other parts of Macon, and we're actually working on that. So stand by, stand by. But again, the people got to ask for it. We can have the best product, but if the people don't want it, we're not receptive to it, then we'll see how that goes. What else is going on locally? More homicides, more homicides. And mental health matters. I'm not gonna go into specific situations, but we have to find a way, especially in the African American community, to ensure that conversations about mental health occur. Um, we got to do that. That's we, and it bleeds over to other areas. I'm not recording this for my other one. Yeah, it bleeds to other area, interpersonal conflicts. So much because there's a lot of trauma, a lot of PTSD, a lot of things that are not addressed, and when it comes out, it's also often too late to really deal with it. So we got to have these tough conversations. We got to check on our folks, make sure they are all right. We got to be responsible when we know people are not all right. Make sure that access to weapons are um, definitely something that we should make sure happen or restricted when people are, especially in crisis. The new bill signed by President Biden, I haven't gone through the bill yet to see everything that it incorporates, but I plan on doing it very soon. Um, but it's just beginning. This is the first legislation that's passed in, I think, over 30, 40 years. Um, yeah, I got to look at the bill. I got to look at the bill. I had so much going on, just work wise this week. Yep. The fourth is coming up. Um, and making it means a lot of people be out shooting their head as well as fireworks. Um, we have to really have a civilized conversation when it comes to our culture of guns, especially those who feel marginalized and feel that's the last thing that's gonna save us from the breakdown of society. If it gets down to a gunfight to for the soul of America, we've already lost. And I'm just gonna leave it there right now. What else we got going on? Okay, guess I got a million dollar, really big million pound elephant in the room. Overturning of Roe v. Wade and the wild, wild west of lawsuits, um, laws being trigger laws, and Somebody gave an analogy that the Republican Party was, Roe v. Wade was their mobilizer, something that they used to, drum up support for years and years and years. And even though we know most polling now suggests that most people believe that women should have a right to some type of abortion, especially in cases of rape and incest. That being said, this abortion issue, however, has been used to drum up support, generate money, you know, and so many, used as a boogeyman that the left is, I don't know, so immoral. Now that they've won, what does victory in a post Roe v. Wade world look like? Because that was established law for 50 years. Established law for 50 years. And regardless if you believe or think abortion is inhumane or not, um, we cannot disagree that it affects women. Women are the ones who have to make that tough decision. There's no debating that. But for this Supreme Court to overturn something that was accepted as law of the land for 50 years, and even during their confirmation hearings, all of them was directly asked were they going to overturn Roe v. Wade, and their answer always was it's established law of the land. Roe v. Wade is law of the land. Now that it's overturned, I think that it's the dog catching the car. You know how dogs chase we're not calling them Republicans dogs. I have some good friends that are Republicans. But you have something that you are chasing and you get it. Now what? Because the trigger laws are starting, the lawsuits, then other questions. And now even Clarence Thomas has stated that, hey, maybe we should look at some other rulings because the argument was that it was never discussed in the Constitution. It was never addressed in the Constitution. Let's see. So, if we keep going down that rabbit hole, what next? What next? And I'm gonna put a lot. People want to go back to how do we get to this point? There's a lot of things that happen. Starting with the President Obama not being allowed to post the Neil Gorsuch, yeah, his nominee for Supreme Court um, within 6 months because President Trump was on the ballot and they wanted to see who was going to win. Well, that was the rationale that Mitch McConnell stated, but it was about winning. Trump got two two additional picks in, and the time the death of Ruth RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Um, and Lord, let's take it back a little bit. The election of Donald Trump. A lot of people say, I don't trust Hillary. I don't trust Hillary. And there's actually still a debate on, well, we have the 1-6 hearings to decide if, Trump is guilty of treason. Basically, let's just call it what it is. That hearing is one of the possible outcomes is that we do have enough evidence is presented that he could possibly have committed treason or very minimal dereliction of his duty as president. Uh, but that was the alternative to Hillary. The whole Benghazi, Hillary, and again, Benghazi. But the hearings yielded nothing substantive. Even with the server, um, there was no real Nothing really came of that, all that. And the only thing that really came up was the Pizzagate, which was debunked. But we've gotten to a sad ass place since, as a country, as a Western quote unquote civilized society. We have come to a very strange place, and what's going to happen next is really almost scary to me. I know people are dissatisfied that we have rising prices of gas. Um, shoot, the prices of everything is up. Inflation is just going through the roof. But that's very complicated. Why that's happening? People say Biden, 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 Biden. But you said Putin, 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 and just whatever. The fact that inflation's all over the world, they want to blame Biden. You go into our camps and we're not having these discussions we should have. So I just think that this post Roe v. Wade world and what's happens next is scary to me that we got to this point. Um, I'm gonna blame some blame on Biden when he heard that the Supreme Court majority rough draft when that rough draft came up, he should have went into fight the win mode. And I said fight the win mode because whether you agree or disagree with Roe v. Wade, again, it's a law of the land for 50 years. I think that the fact that the thumb had been pushed on the right so hard that he had a toolbox that he could have threatened to do. He could say, you know what, I think maybe we should expand the Supreme Court. We should expand the Supreme Court. And if I'm not mistaken, if I'm mistaken, give me in the comments that it's within his purview to do that. Could have shifted it to 13. And I'd have been an asshole. I ain't lying to you. I would have been an asshole. I would expand it to 13, said, in honor of the forefathers, the founding fathers, I think it's appropriate that in such a polarized world, we have a Supreme Court that reflects a polarized society. And in doing so, we put a mechanism in place to allow more dialogue, to allow more, how do you say, more consensus. So I think founding, changing it to 13 in honor of the 13 original colonies. See, I did it. See what I did with that? It would give us a better chance of having a Supreme Court that better reflects the totality of the now 50 states that we have. And in doing so, he would have been able to have number 10, 11, 12, 13. Three, I, nah, but, he'd been on these rules. Those four he could have pushed through and got four. Hopefully, he would have with moderate, with at least three moderates and one to the left. When I said moderates, I'm talking about those who actually go on listen to both sides. And one on the left is a FU because come on now, that's what Trump did. Um, again, and I said this not to say that he should be a vindictive person, but damn, Democrats, y'all gotta start fighting to win. Y'all, I gotta give it to the Republicans on this one. Y'all motherfuckers, y'all play to fucking win. Y'all play to win. Biden has this big stuck in this idea of where we're at, but it's not where we're at. I wish we were in a place where we could have more dialogue. That's why I do what I do. But him as a person who has the voice, he's fucking naive. That's just no other way to put it. He's just so thankful that these people on the right, far right, and I don't think it's all the right because it's the far right are going to be honest players that is sad. It's sickening. It is hurting the country as a whole because You got one party who has allowed this fringe element and they refuse to divorce themselves from it. That's not that. If the right would divorce themselves from these uh, Mallory Taylor, Marjorie Taylor, I don't even want to say her name. The Matt Party Boy, you know, Trump, this far right, this freak show. If they just did that, it would be the left could, just play fair or play by the rules as they are, but they're not doing that. They're saying, you know what, we have an agenda. We don't like these assholes, but you know what, we gonna roll with them because they're gonna get our agenda passed. And sad as it is, that's just the reality where we're at right now. And on top of that, boy's been hot as hell lately. Hot as hell. Excuse me. So this is where we at. What happens next? Again, I don't know. I think it's gonna be kind of. I don't mean to say hilarious. It's gonna be kind of what the heck are we doing? It's theology. There's been several rulings on the Supreme Court. I need to review those more before I comment on those. There was the one where the coach was allowed to pray with his students or his athletes on field, which in theory I have no problem with. What I do have a problem with is the manner of if you're not one of those who feel comfortable praying to a certain way, because people can pray to God, or people can pray to Jesus. A lot of Christians, for praying sometimes it's always in Jesus' name. And some people who are not Christians, sometimes you feel some. I don't say you feel some type of way, but it's definitely you don't want to be disrespectful, but you don't want to have to, you know, call company, call that. And it wasn't the hotline, so because y'all got my attention. It's about y'all right now. It was something earlier. Chaplains and us military always try to do a very wide cast prayer, um, so that it be as inclusive as possible. My only fear is that a young man or woman, young person who may be going through a period or they're trying to find out where their faith truly lies, feels pressured by institution. They want to play football, they want to be part of the team, but feel pressured to pray in a manner that makes them feel uncomfortable. I'm all for Christians having their right to pray. In fact, I fight for their right to pray. What I'm not for is institution potentially punishing somebody who chooses to express their faith differently. Not saying that's that coach did, but I think that ruling is very, I pray sometimes. We had an incident in my job Friday. I prayed. I didn't, I asked God to make sure that, His will be done and that my kids could be all right in case something did happen to me. It's a very dangerous situation, but at the end of the day, faith is important to a lot of people. Institutions of faith now, that's a whole different subject. A lot of things are changing. A lot of young folks are not embracing traditional religions. So, with that, I understand a community, all for community having embracing faith within that community, but I also believe in diversity, a word that's being seen as bad by a lot of people. So, I think like I said, we're in some very strange times, and it's gonna be interesting to see how we come out on the back end. Um, I'm not gonna go long tonight. In fact, I'm ready to shut it down. I need to do a little reconfiguring. Still got a little reflection on my green screen. Got to do some adjusting for that. Um, I had a great last week. Got to work with some youth about podcasting. Talk to them about finding their voice and blah blah blah. But I seen like three or four that were just awesome. That if I could articulate, if I had the personality they had at that age, man, I'd probably be a millionaire by now. So I'm gonna work with this group, I think the Eric Foundation, to ensure that they have the tools they need to podcast and stream. Um, yeah, it's all about the next generation. Like I said, this is for my video diary for my kids. They get to know where my mind was on a lot of different things. So if nobody watches them eventually, that's okay. They know what their dad thought was a thinker, and he tried his best to promote dialogue. But again, I'm here to sign off today and do a little tweaking, so next week I have a much better product. Yeah, my sound levels are awesome. They're like awesome. In fact, I might do like my sound levels are awesome. Yeah. So next week, definitely going to have a little more something on the background. Definitely going to have more. I got to put a little bit more for now. I don't think I'm gonna do. I probably should do something for the fourth, but probably do it the next day. Yeah, probably do it the next day. Um, we'll see. So those who are here, thank you for joining in. Um, tune in later. We'll tune in another next time. We're gonna keep this thing going. Um, how about second teeth? I don't know. Yeah, like I said, do more tweaking, get it right. But definitely gonna partner with others to help the youth find their voice. And boy, I'm telling you that those kids really, really inspired me. So to see them catch on real fast, some in front of the camera, some behind the camera, some like I don't want to be in front of the camera, but I like this whole setup. I use OBS Studios and it's constantly updating. But yeah. Anyway, enjoy your long weekend. Um, be careful. Um, be safe. Have fun. Eat. Don't eat. Don't get eat till you go blur. Slow, but eat. Have fun. Fellowship for those who celebrate the fourth, and those who don't celebrate the fourth, of course, that's perfect. Really good. Really not a, you know, ooh, But I enjoy the opportunity to fellowship. You know, I celebrated Juneteenth. I celebrate um a lot of things that hey, I go Drake on Cinco de Mayo. I may do some you know, do some guacamole and such. But it's not about the holidays. I know that people don't celebrate it, but it's about the opportunity to fellowship. Never miss a chance to spend quality time with those you love. And all that, love you.